Welcome to episode 13, and for this episode, we're going to be covering the Terminator movies.
I'm both pretty excited with this one.
Yeah, and my DVD collection is just the first three.
Yeah.
I stopped after that. Obviously, Salvation then.
And Genesis and Dark Fate.
Dark Fate, yeah. But we're going to start with The Terminator, which is 1984. When people are talking about this movie, they never say The Terminator, they just say Terminator.
And we'll talk about that in a minute, but
there's a reason.
I always refer to it as Terminator.
Yeah, but James Cameron stated that the first one, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, is the Terminator, and then for the second one, there's two Terminators, obviously, Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Yeah, so he wanted to open it out and not just be the Terminator. So there was a reason behind 1984.
Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, who's like the main character in the movie. She's being hunted by the Terminator. The guy comes back from the future, sent by her son John Connor, who is Kyle Reese, who is her protector and to keep her safe from the Terminator hunting her down and killing her.
Yeah, and it was quite a low budget for the 80s. It wasn't like you would imagine that it was like this massive budget. It wasn't until Terminator 2 that they actually had like a proper budget. So what they did and the technology that they were able to get with that kind of money back then.
And it's mad that you say that about the low budget, because the scene where he's like fixing himself in the mirror.
That was a model.
It's like you could tell, but it was still really good for the time. 1980. What'd you say? 1984.
84.
Like that's impressive.
But even the Terminator in metallic form at the end, and he's chasing her, and it is.
I'd say a lot of the budget went in that.
Yeah, and it's only a couple of minutes, but I'd say it took so much. But and I rewatched it recently. Like it is, I know it's in the 80s, but it's so 80s. Yeah. Like even Linda Hamilton's hair, it's so 80s. And then when you come back to Terminator 2, there's such a transition.
Yeah. What was this? Remember I said to you today, what was the song that was playing when he was in the disco 100?
Oh, Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. But James Cameron says that the idea for Terminator came to him via a dream, and he woke up in the middle of the night and he jumped out of bed and he drew the first Terminator.
Like the skeleton.
The skeleton.
That's cool.
And that's where the idea formed from it.
The thing that I noticed, I actually watched them a couple months ago, was the opening scenes where Arnold Schwarzenegger's character comes into the movie and he just teleports into the past, and the first people he meets are like a gang standing in the car park. One of them is Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton from Twister.
Yeah, from Twister. He was tiny little role in this movie, and then he went on to do one of the biggest movies of the 90s. Like
we've talked about this a good bit on the show, and I love seeing that.
It's so
like
good.
Little tiny role.
So
they
good.
all come from somewhere. Carryovers between the first and the second, I didn't notice until I watched them back to back.
You watched them last week, wasn't it?
Last week, yeah. And I love all the carryovers. For example, at the end of the first one, when Sarah Connor is getting her car filled up with gas at the end of the movie, and the little kid comes up and says, "Do you want your photo taken?" And she gets the photo. It's a Polaroid, and she sticks it in the glove compartment. And then in the second one, when her son John Connor is rooting through his bag
at the arcade. At the arcade,
at the ATM.
Yeah.
That photo, his friend grabs it off and goes, "Oh, is that your mum?" And I just love those little carryovers that happen.
It's such a good callback as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously that brings us into Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Well, you have two copies.
Judgment Day.
Why do you have two copies?
This happens a lot in my DVD collection. I have two of the same movie. I don't know whether it was because it was different covers or there's more bonus features. I think that's what it was. It was probably more bonus features on this one. So.
This movie covers John Connor as a teenager. His mom is in an insane asylum because she rants in between the time frame of the first movie and the second movie that there's like this futuristic world that's coming back to hunt her, and she gets put into a loony bin basically. And
now Linda Hamilton as an actor, the character when she's in that mental institution at the start of the movie is so powerful. She goes from this 80s big hair to like ripped, tough,
That's the
you
thing.
know.
She's working out in her cell. She's doing pull-ups and push-ups, and she's just like her arms are shredded, and like she's in good nick in that movie.
Yeah. And I also forgot that Kyle Reese comes back in the form of a hallucination.
That's cool.
/ dream.
Yeah. Because I thought it was one and done for him, and it was only.
I wonder how the actor felt just coming back for a little bit in the second one. He's like, he's the main guy in the first one.
Yeah, I know, but like it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. But then he got a second part, so
yeah,
he's probably happy.
Yeah.
So obviously it's about them trying to destroy Skynet.
Yeah.
Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, isn't the bad guy. He's the good guy. Sent back in the past by John Connor, older John Connor, the leader of the resistance, to protect his younger self from the new Terminator, which was a upgraded version, which was an all organic
liquid metal.
Liquid metal. And then they try and find the origin of Skynet so they could destroy it before Skynet can go live. And AI basically tries to take over the world, and that's what the whole story arc is, that AI becomes self-aware.
Yeah, and Robert Patrick, playing the bad Terminator in this one is
scary.
So scary, and perfect choice. And he actually trained with the American athletics team for the running scenes, because that's actually him running.
Because he was trying to do it in a way where his entire upper body was literally like robotic and stiff, and it was his legs just absolutely sprinting, and his arms were the only thing. Like those spear arms, that's scary shit as a kid. What? It was 1991?
91.
So it was 6-7 years?
Yeah. I love when the Simpsons ripped that scene off. But just he was amazing in it, and then Edward Furlong as John Connor was brilliant, who was cast on the street just walking past, and he was wearing I want to get this right, I think it was a Guns N' Roses t-shirt, or it was a Nirvana t-shirt, one or the other. And he had the long hair, and they're like, "Hey, are you an actor?" And he was like, "No, do you want to audition?" And that's literally, he was just plucked from obscurity into it. And that's I mean, I love him in American History X, and then his life kind of went off the rails, and he never really got to the point that he wanted to get, with all the troubles that he had in his life. But just to be plucked from obscurity like that, and he does
right place, right time. Madness.
Yeah. And his voice was definitely breaking during that movie on a rewatch.
I think one of the most iconic scenes, one of the most iconic, because there's so many iconic scenes in that movie, was the truck chase of the motorbike in the canals. It was massive. Must have been a massive budget.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, it was the spinning of the shotgun reload that it was like, that was iconic.
So cool.
Yeah.
And that was at the point in the movie where you actually weren't aware that Arnold Schwarzenegger was the good guy.
Yeah, and Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't want to be the good guy.
But did he not?
No, he questioned James Cameron. He was like, "What the hell? I thought I was coming back to reprise my role," and Cameron had to talk him into doing it because he couldn't see it.
When you're saying about Arnold Schwarzenegger questioning James Cameron in the first movie, he questioned I'll be back because it was supposed to be I'll be right back, and he was like, Austrian wouldn't say that. Yeah. So it then turned into Arnold taking the reins and doing it as I'll be back.
No.
No?
Other way around.
Or was it the other way around?
Yeah. It was Arnie wanted to say I'll be right back. And James fought him on it. He's like, no, it's I'll be back. And
I've got that flip right.
Yeah, it's the other way around. Yeah, definitely. And then Arnie, because I watched an interview with him quite recently, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad because that became the catchphrase.
A catchphrase for eternity.
I'll be back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm so glad James made me do it."
Arnold Schwarzenegger has so many one-liners. It's actually insane.
Yeah. But I mean, even I was just saying to you, you don't get this anymore. Like, look, it's just Schwarzenegger across the top. Top. It's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's just Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Even that itself is just a statement. You know. And he just was the go-to. He was the go-to action hero. Yeah. And from where he came to where he got was just incredible. So we move on to Terminator 3.
Rise of the Machines.
We have two again. It's the same on the back though. But different covers.
It's slightly different covers.
Yeah.
This was then set in the a little bit in the future of John Connor's life. He went off the grid altogether. He got no cell phone. He didn't have a job. He basically lived on the street, kind of like place to place, and just moved around. So, in fear of the Terminator coming back and hunting him down, because he knew how important he was to the future resistance. Because in Terminator 2, they failed to stop Skynet. Well, they thought they beat Skynet, but it was always a fear that they didn't stop it. Then Arnie returns later on in the movie. Actually, it's a good 30 minutes into the movie before Arnie pops up, and they have another upgrade for a new Terminator, which is half liquid, half skeleton based.
Did you watch this recently?
I watched it about a year ago.
A long time since I watched it. Don't remember too much about it. Christina Lokina is the female Terminator.
She's been in much since, I don't think.
I don't think so. No.
I haven't seen her in much, but
Okay.
sure, we could be wrong. People can let us know. But it wasn't critically acclaimed, I don't think. I think the original fans of the first two were maybe a little bit pissed off with how cheesy.
It's still 430 million was the box office.
It was a big earner. It was a big earner.
Yeah, it just lacked the component. I mean, Terminator 2, like Judgment Day, is one of the best. Best movies. So to compete with anything then after,
anything that came after was always going to struggle.
Yeah,
but it still did good money. It had Arnie back. You know, the story kind of went in the direction of that they weren't trying to stop Skynet anymore, because Skynet is inevitable, is basically the kind of premise, and it was just to make sure that John Connor survived the initial nuclear fallout of Skynet destroying most of the Earth, so he could then lead in the resistance to then send back the Terminators. It's a loop situation. It's like, where does it start, where does it end? It's kind of one of those time travel mind-boggling situations.
It's kind of something that I picked up on in previous episodes, and I was saying with sequels, when they try to make more money, they bring the ratings down. So Death Terminator and Terminator 2 were 15s, and then this one was 12. You know, so they try and bring out the market more.
The Terminator, the bad Terminator, that's hunting John, towards the end of the movie got more scarier, I guess. Like, whenever they kind of cut back to it just being the skeleton, I felt like that was when it was the most kind of the darkest version of it. But the earlier on editions were a little bit kind of slapstick and a little bit cheesy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Were a trilogy rewatch?
100%. Like, yes, include T3, because it is a trilogy. And I know we mentioned Salvation. I enjoyed Salvation. I think James Cameron was doing Avatar at the time, and that's why he wasn't involved in that project. But I still like Christian Bale in it. I thought he did a really good job playing John Connor. They went with a different direction with the Terminator-esque idea.
I'm sure Cameron was still a producer on it, but yeah, Christian Bale. I mean, he's always.
Christian Bale, anything is good.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen a movie that he hasn't done that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Or he didn't act well in. And then after that we had Genesis, which was a complete flip, and it kind of just went upside down, with John Connor would end up being the bad guy, and there was a different future.
And then Dark Fate brought Linda Hamilton back then.
Which was
full circle.
Which is kind of cool. Like, they brought her back into the fold. I didn't rate it. I thought it was lacking a lot, but that's my opinion.
I watched it on an airplane, which is never the ideal
That's not
situation.
an ideal place to
Terminator movie.
100% not an ideal place to watch movies.
But yeah, Terminator. I mean,
definitely 1 and 2.
Yeah,
100% 1 and 2. 3 to finish off the trilogy, and then the rest watch at your leisure for the full story arc. But definitely go back.
Definitely, it was great watching. I'd actually advise watch 1 and 2 back to back and look at all the crossovers. Even the window that Arnie is put through in the first movie, they literally replicated in the second. Like, the exact same window he lands, like the exact same. And there's loads of that crossovers, and I love seeing that in movies. And James Cameron is obviously such a master, and he's so intricate with all his details.
Yeah.
So I missed all that crossover until I watched them back to back.
You just reminded me of, you know, the way Arnie always has to get his clothing after he time travels, and the first one obviously he gets it off Bill Paxton, and the second one he goes into a biker bar and he
Yeah.
gets it off a biker,
Yeah.
and the third one he gets it off a stripper in a ladies' strip club, like, and he takes the sunglasses out, but they're
they're in a
starred.
novelty one. Yeah, and I think that's kind of
that's at the start, and makes
that was the jarring. Yeah, I was like, oh god, they're making it like comedy. Yeah, so I totally get that. I actually love. There's a behind the scenes photo of the second one when he's in the biker bar and he's naked and he's asking for the clothes, but the behind the scenes is a photo and Arnie is wearing the most like outrageous Bermuda bright coloured shorts, and they're like, of all things, like he's meant to be naked and you obviously don't see them, but they're just these bright, I think they're bright yellow, but look for that still.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it.
I love seeing things like that.
That's cool.
But do one and two back to back. As if it's like even the
an
one
episode.
movie.
One
Yeah,
episode.
just
Two episodes back, yeah.
It's really interesting doing it that way.
Yeah. That was episode 13. Terminators. Thank you.